Hi everybody, I'm Hayley.
And I'm Kayli.
And today we're talking about Bel Air.
Bel Air. Sheesh.
Oh,
That's all I could remember. Sheesh.
man, not she.
I say that, but I get called old for saying that. So
He does it and it's cool.
I know. I want my refund. Anyways, today we are talking about Bel Air, which is the dramatization of Fresh Prince of Bel Air. So it was exciting. It was different. It was new, but also still the same.
If you don't read the damn description.
I'm sorry. So to get started, I'm going to go ahead and read the synopsis for us. Bel Air is a dramatic reimagining of the Fresh Prince of Bel Air. The first episode brings a little spice to the iconic line, "I got in one little fight and my mom got scared. She said, you're moving with your auntie and uncle in Bel Air." Instead of Will Smith getting spun around on a basketball court, this Will ends up pulling a gun on a gang leader, forcing him to leave West Philly if he wants to live. Now in Bel Air, Will is having a hard time adjusting to his new life. He doesn't want to change his Philly ways, but it sounds like silly ways. He doesn't want to change his Philly ways, but this unwillingness makes things much more tense with the Banks. If Will wants to become the Prince of Bel Air, he must have the courage to grow into the man he needs to be. That's it.
Beautiful.
Oh, well, this was just the first episode too. We did not watch the rest of them because
No.
you got to pay.
Free trial, okay? All right. So Bel Air is a 2020 drama series inspired by the concept by Morgan Cooper. Mm-hmm. So basically, Morgan Cooper is a filmmaker, and he said that he was literally driving down the highway and he went under a bridge, and I don't know what, but he said that inspired him. He was like, what would it be like if Fresh Prince of Bel Air was like a drama, more serious series? So literally he got everything together. He made a trailer. It's a pretty, you even mentioned, you're like, he did all this for a trailer? Like, it looks like a professional movie. But it's just a trailer. And he just did it kind of, I don't want to say for fun, but, he just did it on a whim. Mm-hmm. And he posted it online. So he was in contact with Will Smith, I think like manager or somebody, literally the next day. And Westbrook is the name of his company. I didn't even know he had the production company.
It makes sense.
But anyway, so they got together with him and started basically planning an actual show that was released on Peacock.
When did the concept trailer come out?
2019.
Oh, so
this is really recent actually. Yeah. But it now has 7.4 million views. So that's pretty cool. So, and apparently Will Smith said that this was the first one that he actually felt like more connected to, because a lot of people have come to Will about like rebooting or like making something of the show. But as soon as they saw this, they were like, I guess he was like, no, that's it. So they contacted him, had him fly out, and they basically created this show as it is today.
That's cool.
Which is super cool.
So Will Smith is like an executive producer?
Yeah, he's executive producer.
Gotcha.
So they kind of fund it. I'm not sure how much he has actually like hands in like the actual creation. I mean, I'm sure he did, but it didn't seem like he was writing or he was like directing or anything like that. He was just kind of like an executive producer.
That's still really cool that he was able to get Will Smith involved.
Literally. Imagine really the next day, not even like after it blew up. I think it said it got like 200,000 views within like 24 to 48 hours. So I mean, it did blow up. So I wonder if he's had some other stuff that's kind of gained traction before.
Maybe
he probably has, because the level of quality of his work was like pretty
really
decent.
Good.
So
For this to be like an amateur, for
this to be just somebody who's just put it together. So
it was really good.
Yeah, so that was really cool. So he's doing it now. The creators are Andy Browowitz, Susan Browowitz, and TJ Brady.
Okay.
So I guess they kind of helped as well. This is inspired by The Fresh Prince of Bel Air, which actually aired from September of 1990 to May of 1996. And as you know, Will Smith, the OG, the concept of having somebody from a rougher area now immersed in a spot that's, upper class, and like that whole idea. So that one was definitely more of a comedy series. It definitely got serious.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. It's like, it's interesting that they want to like dramatize it, but I feel like there was a lot of drama that was happening in the original Fresh Prince. Mm-hmm. Like there's that whole like part with his dad and like that kind of thing. Yep. And just like different topics that they talked about with like being black and everything like that. Mm-hmm. So I feel like it did get serious at times. This is a whole other level of seriousness with this show. But I don't know. Yeah, it was kind of interesting that they want to dramatize a show that's already kind of based on like drama with more comedic factors.
Yes. But I found some interesting facts about the show, or this too, that like stood out to me. Mm-hmm. So people assume that The Fresh Prince of Bel Air was always like a hit, like it was always popular, but apparently not. They were going to cancel it after 4 seasons.
Oh,
but
how many seasons is there?
I think 7.
Okay,
7 or 10. Some, they went on for like 3-4 more seasons. But the station managers were like, no, we think it's like, they were the ones actually pushing for it. So not the audience, not even like that, but they're like, no, let's keep going. And then they kept going, and now it's the classic that it is today.
Isn't that kind of crazy how like so close some of these shows have gotten to like just being booted off from TV and we would never see it again like that? It's cool though that they were able to like stand up for a show like that, especially in the 90s and everything. So it's really nice.
Yeah, because sometimes it's not that it's not good. It's just like not enough people have started to watch it. So you kind of have to wait a little bit for word to get around. I mean, I don't know what season that you kind of have to decide if it is or it isn't, because 4 seasons is pretty
It's into the show.
there, but still. So now it's a pretty popular show. I watched it on Nick at Night.
Yeah, that's how I was introduced to it too.
Yep. So I thought that was pretty cool. Oh, sorry. I was going to mention one of the shows, that one got picked up. I think it was on like Lifetime or something. And that one actually got picked up and renewed by Netflix. Just so y'all know, You was canceled.
That's crazy. And now look at it. It's an icon for not good reasons.
So that goes to show, just because maybe you're not getting a lot of traction, me and you, girl.
We talked about this last time on Meteor Man.
We did. Yep. You got to keep pushing.
That's right.
But anyway, and then one other little trivia is, so Jada Pinkett Smith, well, just Jada Pinkett at that point, she auditioned for the role of Lisa, who is Will's love interest, but she didn't get chosen because they lacked chemistry.
Aw, now they show the world.
Which is funny, because obviously now they're married.
Yeah, now they're married.
And that's actually where they met.
Oh.
And where they kind of sparked interest is literally her.
But they had
the
no
audition.
chemistry on camera.
Yes, that's why they were like, they didn't have chemistry, but sometimes you don't have like a ton of chemistry if you don't get to,
Yeah. And maybe it doesn't translate on camera. I've never recorded me and my boyfriend, so I don't know if we would have
God knows
like
that would look like.
Right, who knows? So I don't know. It's different. I feel like real life relationships are a lot more subtler than like on screen.
Yeah.
You have to camp it up a lot more too.
Especially when you're acting. It's one thing to be your actual personality and your person.
That too.
Versus kind of a character that you're playing. I know Will kind of played, not himself, but I know he wasn't playing like a whole nother character, but still, when you're reading lines, it may not be that. So I guess he might have more on-screen chemistry with somebody else, just their acting, but in real life, probably not. So the cast members, we have Jabari Banks, who plays Will Smith, Cassandra Freeman, who plays Vivian Banks, Jimmy Akingbola, who plays Jeff.
You almost had it.
Sorry, I've been watching Game of Thrones. I said Joffrey. Jimmy Akingbola, who plays Joffrey. Ollie Shalaton.
Is it Joffrey or Jeffrey?
Jeffrey. What'd I say?
You said Joffrey.
Sorry. Game of Thrones. Jeffrey. Ollie Shalaton.
We'll go with that.
Okay. As Carlton Banks. Adrian Holmes as Philip Banks. April Parker Jones as Viola or Vi Smith. Stevante Hart as Trey Melbert. Charlie Hall as Tyler Larami. Coco Jones is Hillary Banks. Akira Akbar is Ashley Banks. Simone Joy Jones is Lisa. Jordan L. Jones is Jazz. Joe Holt is Fred Wilkes. Dwayne Martin is Steve Lewis. Tyler Barnhart is Connor Statterfield. And then I think the rest of the people we haven't really met yet from this first episode.
Yeah, for this one. So, anything else you wanted to add?
No, I think that's about it.
Overall thoughts. Haley, what do you think about this?
It was about as what I expected. So as we stated earlier, we didn't say anything earlier, actually. Well, no. As we stated earlier, the original trailer was something else. So I'm honestly just going to compare the trailers. So the original trailer versus the new trailer that's been produced. Even just looking at those, I prefer the old trailer.
Yeah.
I think I said this in the past episode because I touched on it a little bit, but it just felt more authentic. It just felt more real to me. This one was almost like a gimmickier version of that. Yeah. But I'm like, okay, it's been Hollywoodified a little bit. You're going to have other people's hands in it and they're going to want it to go this way and that way. But I wish they stayed true a little bit more to, I don't know, the original feeling or energy of the first one. Because I really felt like that first Will was from a rough area. I do feel like it was just more realistic. Philly. Yeah, even the fight scene. I mean, of course, it's, not cheesy, but, the whole, who threw that at me little type thing. But it felt more authentic in the first one. This second one, I'm sorry. They made Will so goofy. Yeah. And I'm like, I feel like that's not how he really is. in real life. Like I feel like he's really trying to be this like Will Smith. Goofy.
Okay, you're saying that Jabari Banks.
Jabari Banks.
Is okay.
Sorry, like compared to the Will, like that Will versus this Will. Yeah. So those are my just kind of general thoughts, and that's definitely how I kind of felt about the first episode. So granted, we haven't seen the whole season, but just based off of the free episode that we're able to watch with our Peacock subscription, we just watched the first one. But that's kind of my overall thoughts. Obviously, there's not a first episode of the original concept, so I cannot compare that. But what are your thoughts?
I've realized this about myself. I don't like dramas unless there's murder or comedy. I'm a complex gal. What can I say?
You didn't like the comedy in this one?
No.
Oh man.
So this is what I've come to realize. Like my dad used to watch this show called All American. It's on Netflix, and it's like about like teenagers. I don't know what they're doing, but it gave me vibes of this. Like it was just a little too cheesy, a little too dramatic, and I didn't care about any of the characters. But with this one, it's like a little bit awkward too. Even though the original show came out 20 years ago. Or plus because we're old. So it's
that's all, folks.
It's interesting because like we already know what these iconic characters look like, and now we're trying to kind of revamp the show into something that's a little bit different. But like I said, like with Coco Jones and like most of the female actresses, like I felt like could have been Viv or could have been the mom or could have been Ashley or Hillary. So I felt like they looked really good. But like all of the men in this show I could not get behind. I don't know if I love Will Smith or Carlton.
Oh my God. I was gonna say all the women I thoroughly enjoyed. I thought they acted the best. I thought that they were enjoyable. Like I was like, I believe them. I'm with you. Yeah. The men. Will's character was a little bit overly trying to be too Will. And the amount of slang. Now I'm not from West Philly, so maybe I do not understand certain slang. But I was like, what? He doesn't sound to me like somebody who's from a rougher. He's just saying all this slang. Yeah. What he said. What did they say? That's rap. I just can't remember what they kept saying. I was like, what? Who says this? Like I said, I could be very wrong. And maybe this is West Philly lingo.
True.
But it just felt like a lot of TikTok or just like what you think a kid would be saying.
I agree.
Sound like a middle-aged person came up with a script for what a young black male would be saying with the slang. That's fresh, yo. I'm like,
no, it's not.
It's not fresh, yo.
It's stale.
It's bad. And I truly think there are some of the hardest things to act, and one of them is acting. I don't even know what you would call it, but like when you have people who are from the hood or from rougher areas, to me that is so hard to portray. Yeah, it's such a natural thing. You have to be so natural with it, so smooth with it that it doesn't seem forced.
Yeah, exactly. Because if you're too over the top, then it's like you're just making fun of these people now.
Yeah, it's almost like, it's almost like a caricature of what it is.
Exactly.
So I'm like, I just got that feeling where everybody was super, hey yo, who do that, man? Like you're enunciating too much. They enunciate, but also try to sound hood.
And they mumble too. They mumble like so much.
Some people are over enunciating, and then some people are trying to do the mumble. I
was like, oof. In Peacock, I don't know if it was just my system or what, but I couldn't put on subtitles. So I was like, I don't know what the fuck they just said. So I'm gonna just hope that nothing was important.
Hope not.
But this did happen to me. Like I went and had I went and had dinner with a friend that I hadn't seen in a while. And I don't know if I'm just getting older. Like I am in my mid-20s, okay. But I'm young at heart. I use slang. I say bro, dude, old slang. But I had dinner with him and he said dead ass one time. And I was like, what did he just say? Like I said something. He's like, oh, dead ass. And it took me so long to process what the fuck he just said.
Not him pulling that word out from 2008.
True. So it's his fault, not mine.
Yeah.
But it took me so long to process what he was saying. So I don't know if it's just me getting older that I can't appreciate the slang being slanged in here. But it was just too much for me, especially the sheesh. That took me out.
Yeah. I was like,
took me out.
How old is he again?
2. He's supposed to be 16 in the show.
16. I'm like, you're a little bit old to be sheesh. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, seriously, sheeshing. Like, that's what I thought like 12-year-olds would be doing. But you know what? I could be wrong. I'm also 25, so I literally do not understand what the super youths are doing.
The super youth.
I'm a youth. But getting into the older youth. But I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
So I would definitely agree with that. And then the storyline was seeming forced. I'm so sorry. I was so confused about his character. On one end, he's a great star basketball player. He's getting good grades, unless they cheated. I don't know. They were kind of giggling when they got their grade back. But I was like, I'm assuming he seems like an all-around good kid. He's on his way to college. We love. And then all of a sudden, some guy makes him mad by, oh, you going to college? What did he say? He was saying something stupid.
Yeah, basically. He was like, if I was still in school, then you would have been on the bench, blah, blah, blah.
And literally, I was like, it was so, oh, he said, I went to juvie. All my chance. I'm like, juvie? You acting like you went to jail. If you don't get your ass in high school, juvie does not prevent you from going to high school. True. I'm like, what is he talking about? I went to juvie when I was 12 and now I can't. You lucky. I'm like, lucky what? Did they get banned from playing sports if you ever went to juvie?
I guess so. It's a hard life.
I might be wrong. I'm not saying juvie's not a great place, but I didn't think it disqualified you from participating in places unless he's still there. Oh, are you still in juvie?
They let you out early.
Yeah, I was like, I'm so confused.
I didn't get it either.
Are you out of high school now? Like, I was so confused because that was not a great excuse for me. Like, I went to juvie one time, so I can't do nothing.
Unless he was like a senior and then he went to juvie.
But you had how many years to play?
True. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me either.
That one was a stress. I'm like, okay, he had some reason why he couldn't play.
We never know.
Whatever
we will
it
never
is.
know.
And I'm like, you're gonna let that man talk to you like that? Well, not even talk to you like that, but you're gonna let him get to you like that. Cause
that's what was so annoying.
I was like, wait, what? He was like, oh,
I was like, why was he so mad?
I would literally be like, okay,
bye later.
He was like, nah, I gotta rep my hood. What was he talking about?
That
he was like, I can't go down in the streets like this. Mm-hmm. I'm like, wait.
He said, I can't rep my city like this. Like they blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And it was so weird. What? But I'm like, it was literally like, I guess there was a few onlookers too, but it was literally not a big deal.
Boy, I was like, nobody cares. You're a star basketball player. You're getting good grades. Your life is headed on a good track. And I could see kids messing up their life. Don't get me wrong. Kids are immature and they don't understand things. But I feel like they didn't set his character up for me to believe that he's a hothead. The whole time, I didn't believe he was hothead. He seemed like a normal, he's chilling. And then all of a sudden, I can't let that go. I'm like, where did this come from? Like, I agree. It wasn't setting it up for that. And I'm like, I don't believe this in his character because they haven't set it up. Mm-mm. Like the first trailer we watched, it seemed like he was more troubled. This Will didn't seem troubled.
No.
Not that you can't seem troubled and not be troubled. But you know what I mean? I was like, they're not giving me hints that this is something that he would do. Then he went, he played, he won.
Okay, first of all, before we even talk about that, with the bet. So the bet was you can either win $2,000 or work for my crew. Huh?
I said, wait.
First, no, that is not
a drug
equal.
deal off a game. It's a no. I'm good. Mr. Hyde, you want me to trap
for the rest of my life?
Y'all not gonna let me go? Do I owe y'all? When can I stop?
Yeah, we need an actual contract for this game. Actually, if we're gonna be selling our lives for this, no. Even his friend was like, "Don't do it."
I was like, hey man, it's not that serious. He's like, but it is. He's like, it's not actually serious at all. You say, you got it. Maybe I would have been on a bench, but alas.
But I'm getting a scholarship
Here
instead.
we are. I'm like, but
at least they won. But those stakes were a little too high for me. Too high.
I'm not risking my soul. That's your soul. You can't just start drug dealing for like a month and you're like, all right, you're done. No. Well, I'm like, how do they really need workers like that?
I don't know.
They said we gotta start recruiting. You go around and piss people off, and you gonna play a game.
And that's how we're gonna do it.
That's how we're gonna collect.
Oh my God! Speaking of recruiting, this has nothing to do with the show.
But
like lately, me and my boyfriend would go to the grocery store, and these people would keep trying to like recruit us into their MLM or something.
Oh no, not
like their
grocery
scam.
Store.
Yes.
What are they selling, or what is the
So
company?
what happened the first time is like it was me and Tristan at the grocery store, and they were like, "Oh, we like your hair, blah blah blah." And we're like, "Oh, thanks." But that was just small talk, and then we got it more and more and more. And he was like talking about like what we do, blah blah blah. And then he was like, "I'll give you my phone number, and like I have mentors, blah blah blah." I wanted to say no, but I'm awkward, so I was like, "Okay, I guess here's my number." So they texted us a few times, and they're like, "Well, since we're not getting a response, we're gonna take this as a no that you don't want to move forward and meet our mentors. You're not that serious." I was like, that's exactly right.
Yes.
I was never that serious.
No.
And then Tristan went to the grocery store again by himself, and it happened again with a different person. They were recruiting him. So be careful.
The same company?
I think so. They were talking about mentors and all this kind of stuff.
What was this thing? They want you to sell something? Were they selling, or they just want you to come talk to their mentors? Mm-hmm. So you're telling me you can't even tell me what it is, and you want me to come out here?
That's sketchy.
That's odd. That should be call the cops on them and get them taken away. I'm so sorry.
I'm just trying to grocery shop.
Just picking them avocados.
For real. But yes, that just reminded me of that because anyways, this recruiting too was bad.
Yes, as well. This might have been a little more extreme.
Maybe a little bit
than
more.
your pyramid
Who
scheme.
knows?
But yes, that's too high.
At least they won, because who knows what would have happened. If that would have been a different show if they lost.
Ooh,
That might have been a little bit interesting.
Prince of nothing.
Prince of these streets.
Prince of Philadelphia.
For real. But that was the other thing too. He was just like so strong for West Philly. And I was like, so I did actually watch the first episode of The Fresh Prince of Bel Air too. And like, you know, they're the same character, but it wasn't that serious. He wasn't like, I got to rep these streets wherever I go, blah, blah, blah. Like, he was like, yeah, I'm from West Philadelphia.
Yeah.
And that was about it.
And I feel like we can go that route. I think I need a full episode where they're in Philadelphia.
Where we don't go to Bel Air.
We don't go to
yet.
Bel Air.
Yeah.
I'm like, if you're gonna set it up that he is about his city, he's a hothead, or you know, he's a good kid, but you know, he's got a few things that he's a work on. You know, I get it. I totally understand that. But my problem is that happened maybe in the span of like 15 minutes. I just felt like it was so fast. I couldn't understand who Will is in Philadelphia, because to understand who he is in Bel Air, you have to understand who he is as a person, like in his own town. Like, how is he here?
That's true.
Why do you have to leave? So I could have taken an episode, maybe 2, but just to be like, let's build up his life in Philadelphia, then let's have him move to Bel Air, because I feel like I everything was so forced and fast, because I wasn't they were like, go, he has to go to Bel Air in this episode. I'm like, no, he doesn't. I would have totally took it if he was just living his life. We got to meet more of his mom, his his friends.
You know what? Who did that? Peacock. They said, we're only giving 1 episode for free, and if he does not go to Bel Air in that episode,
not gonna watch.
they're not gonna watch.
No, I'm like, the end of it could be him being shipped or something, but I'm like, I just felt like, I was like, oh, they're gonna rush this.
I agree, because like his temper, and this whole thing about like, I'm not gonna be called out right here in my streets, blah blah blah. Like, how am I supposed to be coming back and repping Philly if I can't even stand up to him? Like, why does it matter?
Yeah, I'm like, I haven't gotten why this character cares like that. You know what I mean? Like, I get it if that's it. I'm sure there's people all over I know there's people who don't want to be disrespected, or they feel like, oh, now you calling me a bitch, that I'm not a bitch. Like, I totally get that, but I wasn't getting that motivation from this character. It just wasn't enough time. Maybe I'm being picky, but I was like, y'all could have gave an episode of Philadelphia.
If y'all really wanted to do it right, then I feel like that's what you should have done, because we didn't really get to see Will in Philly to understand why he was so hardcore Philly.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm not getting hardcore from him. I'm getting like, I like basketball, yo. Sheesh. Oh, you're not gonna disrespect me a boxer. I'm like, he's not giving it. Like, I'm not getting the like nitty gritty Philadelphia here. But that's just me. Once again, I do not know the slang, the area like that. But I was just like, it's giving actor.
It's giving me force.
It's giving me, this is a show and not
giving me
real
that.
life.
Yeah, exactly. But any other things about before
like
he went to Bel Air?
No, but I will say, I wish, sorry, this kind of goes along with like having more time with him. I do wish they touched on his dad before he left too. I feel like they threw it in there when he got to Bel Air. They threw a lot of stuff in there that's why also.
They did too much.
They did. Anyway, so I think it was fine. I understood his mom. Oh, and then when he's literally getting out of the jail, you know, he goes to jail because they find the gun on him because he pulls it out. That was so annoying. And my biggest pet peeve, who threw that? You. I'm like, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Why would he throw that at you? He's literally mid-celebration. Why would he risk his $2,000?
Yes.
I always hate that. It's the, who did that? They point at the like least obvious person.
Even the old boy is over here turned around looking like,
no, he literally is backing away and he lost. I'm like, of course the bitter person's going to be throwing stuff at you.
Yes. Who was the last one who had the ball? Not them.
No, literally. They're sitting here, yeah. And he's turning around smiling. What? Like, you. I'm like, he just won $2,000 and he doesn't have to work for you. Yeah. I'd be dancing too. I would not throw a ball at you. That was dumb. But anyway, so they get to the jail or whatever and he's sitting there, wakes up. He gets out of jail. And of course that guy was like, how are you getting out? You snitching? I'm like, you saw him not snitch all night.
True. But it is very suspicious that he got out without even seeing a judge. So I could understand why.
Oh, I do get that, but I was like, oh, here we go.
Yeah.
He said he snitched. I said, did you
to who?
Not yet. He gonna snitch. Right. That's where he's going.
He's about to.
But anyway, so that was that, and then of course pulled strings, and enters Bel Air.
Yeah, and like, okay, so with this one, obviously it should be a hush hush why Will is there, because it was not the best, like, over the table kind of deal breaking that the uncle did to get him out of jail.
Yeah, he did pull some strings.
He did pull maybe some illegal strings.
He was a juvenile.
And this was his first thing and all this kind of stuff. He was a good kid, so I can understand why it maybe works. But so he goes to the party where all these like big donors are for his uncle. And then he's like starting to run his mouth a little bit too much, talking about like, oh yeah, thank you for everything, Uncle Phil. I appreciate it. I'll make it up to you. And they're like, this is suspicious. Of
course,
I'm like, if it was supposed to be hush hush, why y'all not tell him?
Well, that's my thing. Because literally his aunt, he was like, hey, well, maybe I'll go to the party.
That would be the opportunity to be like, actually,
maybe not. I'd be like, honestly, this is not the time for this introduction. But they didn't. So yeah, he running around. Hey yo, could you make me? And this is what I hate. Just because somebody is from a rougher area does not mean they don't have manners. I know they're trying to make him like something. I'm like, this man is yelling. I don't even care if it's a top chef or not. Why are you yelling at this man?
That was rude.
I'm like, you see, these are like fancy hors d'oeuvres, and come on now. So, but I guess that was me just cringing. But I'm like, okay,
there's a lot of cringe-worthy things.
Oh, it's so cringe. Hey, yo, give me that Philly cheese. And I guess the chef was like, we was cool with it. He was like, here you go.
He's like, we actually have everything we need for this.
He's like, perfect. We're rich. We have every ingredient ever, actually.
Ever.
Anyway, but.
Yeah. So it's very reminiscent though of the first episode of The Fresh Prince too, because like they have like a dinner party and they ask Will to put on a tux, and if he's ever in doubt, act like Carlton. And so he comes in dressed like a fool, and so everybody's like looking at him a little weird, and he's still like doing his slang thing. And that was another thing too. So Will Smith, the real one in The Fresh Prince of Bel Air, he does use a lot of slang too, but it didn't seem as forced. And I think that's what really bugged me, because I was like, okay, he does use a lot of slang, so that's why they did it. They mirror a lot of stuff from the actual first episode and this new one. So I could appreciate what they were going for, but it just didn't work. Like it seemed like Will for real said those words. It didn't come off like, oh, this is like something I have to say because it's written down on a page. It was more like, yeah, it was cool. It was stupid, blah, blah, blah. Stupid. What that mean? He's like, oh, neat. So, he was able to play with it. It seemed more organic, but with this one, it was a lot more stiff.
It was. And I'm like, maybe it's just, I know Will Smith had a lot more, he's just smoother with it. So it might just be the charisma thing. Yeah, it just kind of fit a little bit more. I know he's kind of playing himself a little bit. So maybe that's why it's a little bit easier, a little bit more natural. But I so agree. It's like, you don't have to take every slang word that you think the kids are using and throw it in every sentence. No. Like 1%. It was bad. Like I was like, bro, he can just talk normal. They don't
use this all the time.
But that's like kids. They always make teenagers and kids sound so dumb. I know they're really trying to enforce that he's like, has a lot to learn. But I'm like, y'all don't have to do it this bad. And then.
Yeah, but it was so that they had that mirroring image of like both of them kind of ruining a dinner party or kind of ruining something that was a little important, which was cool. I did like that appreciation. There was like, I like that appreciation or the attention to detail that they did. So they obviously cared about like kind of mimicking the show in a way that would not completely rip off the first episode, but still harken back to it. But anyways, but yeah, if it was that big of a deal, they should have been like, hey, Will, we're going to say that you're here for education and we'll talk later.
Well, what was the alternative? So because Carlton was like, I know why you're really here. I was like, does everybody not? It's okay to say it was getting rough. And I'm like, why is it such a hush hush that
that's true?
You don't have to say. I guess so. I'm like, you don't have to say what exactly he did, but I think it's perfectly fine to say, well, he is probably there maybe for a better education, and then be like, and you know what? We're gonna take him under our wing. And like, I was like, why is that so bad? He said, I know why you're really here. I'm like, but he already got let off. So what? Were you gonna threaten him with the police?
Right.
That's why I was like, what? Again. I was like, what is this gonna rise to a head to?
Yeah, I don't know.
Ooh, Carlton got my nerves. Oh my goodness. He just, I don't like him for Carlton.
Me neither.
I don't. Not because he doesn't look like him. That's not it. He doesn't have the aura of Carlton. And I'm like, I know it's more serious.
Yeah.
But I was like, to me, Carlton is a little bit more scary. He's not as like, this Carlton is like, I run this. But I'm like, the Carlton in the like original one, he was kind of like a little bit of a lame loser. Like he didn't get along with Will, but I mean, he wasn't like this. Yeah, I'm on the basketball team too. And I mean, of course they can take creative direction. I'm not saying it has to be has to be their like, what do you say? Like book by book, whatever.
Oh yeah.
It doesn't have to be exact, but I like the dynamic in the first one or the original, because it was like Will, like Carlton got to let loose a little bit with Will. And kind of got to be not cool, but he got to relax
over the series.
Yeah, over the series, and he was a little stiff, kind of goofy, but Will kind of relaxed him, and then Carlton was also kind of rubbing off of Will. But in this one, I'm like, it just seems like Carlton is just being a brat. I'm like, why? He doesn't.
Which I feel like is a little realistic.
True. It is true though. So I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm not mad at them. That's probably more of a creative direction thing. But
Yeah.
I did like the OG kind of relationship of like
I agree.
Carlton not being as cool, because this
Yeah.
Carlton's a little too cool for me. But like I said, that's more of a me picky thing. I don't think that was like a negative thing.
And now he's a drug addict too. So.
Oh, that was great. I like that though. I was like, that's realistic. If we're gonna go
In a
there,
rich
the rich
school?
kids are
True.
on those drugs. They're on the
True.
drug. What do you say? It's only
Xanax.
Xanax. I said,
Yeah. You snort Xanax?
I didn't even know. I was like,
We out the loop.
I'm out here thinking it's cocaine.
Every
I
time
don't
I
know
see
what this
anybody snorting
is.
anything, I think it's just coke.
I'm like, wow, they're sniffing coke crack, and then I apparently not everything's crack. I don't know. Apparently there's differences. I was like, I thought it was the same thing.
I don't know either.
Anyway, but I did
Yeah.
like that. Honestly, the end got more interesting to me.
Yeah, it got more interesting, and I also like the dynamic. I don't know how much we want to talk about it, but whenever the white guy was singing the N word
He
in the
was
song, he was
letting it fly.
feeling it, boy.
That was realistic.
It was,
Because
yeah.
Will was like, why are you letting him say that? He's like, man, please, I'm cool. Let me be cool. You don't know
I'm
my
trying
life.
to blend in.
Yeah, come on. You think I'm one of them? I'm like, sir.
So it's an interesting conversation too, because it's like about being black. What is being black and everything like that. So I mean, I appreciate it because it's different. It's different circumstances where Will was raised. Like, of course, people that are not black are gonna not be saying that word. But like, I see the point that Carlton was making too. He's like, well, you know, they listen to this music, so why can't they rap along? So that's an argument that everybody makes. But
You could see how they were like. It was like something that's truly an argument like in real life, and you can see that they're trying to bring the conversation to like a realistic conversation. It seemed that was probably more realistic as that part of it. Like once they started getting into more of the troubly stuff, I was like, oh, okay, like I see that a little bit, and I appreciate them kind of bringing out the conversation and like something that would probably actually happen, because you got a school full of rich white kids and nobody tells them no,
So it makes sense. I like that. I agree. That's when it started actually feeling more real.
Authentic. Yeah, when all the gimmicky stuff was kind of over with. Because when Will was acting more angry, I believed him more than he was being like goofy, cheesy.
When he was trying to be, the comedic relief, I was like, this is not working.
Yeah, but Carlton, he's governor. But I'm like, I see where they're going. I don't necessarily don't like his character. I guess I can't compare too much to the OG. So I'm like, okay, let me do that. But I'm like, okay, so he's kind of an uppity, but he's popular. I just have to make that adjustment. Thought they were going to be friends at first. Then they weren't, because he took his woman. But I will say,
That's her too. She wrong for that.
she know better than that. She said, ooh, the hood is calling. Because she said at the end, she's like, I'm not from here. She's like, thank God you showed up. She's not tired of these people.
True. But she also said something about like Carlton was going through things. She's like, do you know? So if you know that Carlton's having a hard time, why would you fuck him up like that?
Literally.
That's messed
I
up.
was like, what? And then, of course, in my mind, like, what are you going through? Something he put himself in. He's rich. What's his problem? But I guess we're going to find out. I'm sorry. I was being
We calling out that privilege. Calling it out.
like, sir. But I'm sure they're going to reveal it, and it's probably very serious. But I did like, though, how the love interest was just a black woman.
Yeah.
Can we say that? She's not light. I mean, not that there's anything wrong, but not like the traditional, like, look biracial looking, or, she's like, she looked like I was like, how refreshing.
Yeah.
Because in the original trailer for this whole concept, I think it looked like a lot of the love interests were kind of like mixed looking, and I'm not hating. I'm not saying that
She
you
is.
can't.
She's hating on us.
I'm not hating.
She's self-hating.
But I definitely see it's so like, even after when people were talking about it, I'm like, and then I watched and I'm like, I even told my mom, and I was like, just watch. Every time there's a show, the love interest is going to be lighter skinned, probably mixed or biracial. She's like, And after a while, she's like, Hayley, you're right. And every time we were like, there it is again. So I was actually glad that they chose just a regular black woman, just black. She's not mixed. She's not anything. She's still she's still pretty. I'm like, y'all can't find a pretty black. Like, what is it? There's plenty of them. What are you doing? And then they have the biracial girl with two black parents. Stop.
Yeah.
Stop.
That's a little weird.
They have a light skinned mixed child, and then she has like brown skinned black parents. I'm like, this is not.
It don't add up. The math ain't mathing.
Well, I feel like not only does it take away from the black experience, but also being biracial. Like, it's okay to. I mean, if you're gonna have somebody who's biracial, it's okay to make them biracial in the show. You don't have to like pass them as just full black. I don't know. That's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother day. But
I will say,
I was
though,
refreshed.
when she was when he saw her when she was swimming, I was like, how did he know that was her? She had her swim cap on, the swimsuit, everything was covered.
Knew.
He said, I didn't recognize that body anywhere.
Yeah, well, I didn't see many other black girls at the school. So
True.
honestly,
That's true too.
because it's a little uppity place, and she says she's not from there either. So
Yeah.
it's like, you know what?
But that was our second time seeing her. And I was like, who is he looking at like that? I was like, oh, it's that girl from before. Okay.
His love interest. She said, I like your fresh kicks. I said, oh no. But now that I realize she is not from there, I said, I will allow you to say fresh kicks, girl. I was like, I know you didn't learn fresh kicks in Bel Air. It's all coming
Not
full
from those
circle.
white kids.
I said, no, you
Connor.
did not.
He said fresh kicks.
He said from Greg, or what did he say? He was like, his name is Connor.
Yes.
I was like, not Connor, that's weird. But I guess we can talk about the other characters. I still wanted to talk about like Uncle Phil.
Oh
Yeah,
Uncle Phil
and his little agenda. I'm like, I thought Uncle Phil was supposed to be good. This Uncle Phil said,
he said, I'm going to use this for something.
he said we took him in for charity.
Yeah.
I'm like, and then, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say he just irritated because the real Phil, may he rest in peace. I don't know. He was just like, he was no nonsense,
Yes.
and he was wise, and he whatever. And then this one just seems kind of sleazy. Like I know they're trying to make him be like
A little bit, yeah.
good, but I'm like, the real Phil would not be out here overly worrying about like Will coming in his life and being like, we got to hide him, but we also want to use him.
Yeah.
And then he told Will, he was like, if I had it my way, and maybe this happened in the beginning of the series of the real Fresh Prince, I don't know, but he was like, if I had it my way, you'd be on your way back. But then when he tried to run away, he's like, we want you here. I was like, what is his, I don't like Phil. I don't like that character. I don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
They're
I mean,
gonna
it
pull
also
in,
doesn't
but-
even make any sense for Will to want to go back to Philly. Like, you on a hit list now.
Well, he think kids don't think they're gonna survive.
I'm
His friend
sorry.
said, I'm scared. He said, I'm on the way. I said, the way where? What are you gonna do?
What? Yeah.
Your mom said stop coming. Honestly, his mom is probably too.
That's what I was
she gonna
thinking
get out?
too. I wonder if they're gonna kill
You
off.
can't ever come back.
mom.
Don't. Ooh,
Yeah.
but yeah, so
Uncle Phil is even Jeffrey too.
sketchy.
Jeffrey and Uncle Phil, they looking like they in the black mafia.
they were scaring me. He handed all that money to Jazz. He said, Jazz said, thank you for your money. And
I'll be on my way.
Jazz's character. I didn't mind Jazz's character. I hate how they met.
Oh,
I'm like, how did y'all even get? He's like, how'd you get this cab service? You telling me that the Bel Air people who are rich as hell didn't send like another? They just had you grab a
yeah.
random cab. It's not even a cab. It's like, was
Some
it Uber?
dude's car.
Maybe it was Uber.
It was it. I think
It
he just
didn't
does
seem
like
Uber.
he just does driving. Like he does like different services and he's a driver.
I guess so. Yeah, that was all like what, but whatever.
Yeah.
That's dumb. But I did like the Jazz that played Jazz. He was show. But yeah, I was like not a huge fan of Uncle Phil. He just wasn't giving me
The fatherly feel.
the fatherly
Yeah.
figure that's stern. He was just like kind of sleazy,
Mm-hmm.
almost like he was annoyed that Will was there. And don't get me wrong, it's probably like but
Mm-hmm.
I just felt like he was like using Will.
Yeah. I would say in the first episode of The Fresh Prince, they did have a talk where like they were kind of coming more to an understanding about that they are more complex than what they seem. So like, Will was all like, you don't know my life, blah, 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 blah. And he's like, well, you don't know mine. Like you over here, you like Malcolm X. I was there at his speeches. I was there. I was ride or die, bitch. He didn't say all that, but yeah. So it was cool to see the complex moment between Uncle Phil and Will and the Fresh Prince, because like they were realizing that there's more to them than just what they see on the outside.
Yeah.
But with this one, it did seem more like it was also again forced. Like he was like, I don't need no daddy. I was like, oh.
I was like, wait, we haven't even said anything about your dad.
what even happened to him?
Well, that's almost like we need more backstory because he's
We
like,
do.
I don't need no dad. I'm like, wait, we have not even talked about it. Not that it's not relevant, but I was
Yeah.
just like, I feel like we need to build
We
up
got
to this
there.
part.
Yeah, we reached the climax of the daddy issues before we even knew that there was daddy issues to get to.
Yeah, like we don't know even about his dad at all. So I'm like, granted, we've only watched the first episode, so I understand that things might unfold, but I just feel like that outburst I could see later in the season.
Yes,
like
and I think they will be more impactful then.
yes, instead of the first. I feel like they're jamming so much. I'm like, we can build.
Yeah.
We have a series here. It's not a movie. So I'm like, y'all.
Exactly.
I'm not saying they don't have conflict or they still didn't have a talk, but the whole that to me is later.
Yeah, I agree. Because like I feel like what you would have to do is just have the talk with Will, like, hey, this is what we're going to do. This is what we're not going to do. And we don't have to talk about dads.
No, we don't. Not yet.
No.
Not that it's not a thing. But yeah, it was a little forced a little bit there. But I don't know. I'm just getting icky, evil vibes from Uncle Phil. But like
Uncle
I said,
Phil is sleazy.
he was like, we got to win this campaign. And how am I going to prove that I'm here for the what's it called? The less fortunate kids if he's not in line. I'm like, wait. You're advocating for this group. And you have this group who you're advocating for in your home, and you're treating him horribly. Yeah. You're telling him, you're yelling at him, like you're mad at him, like he rolls up to an event that he's not prepared for, not his fault, and now you're looking at him sideways, like you're gonna ruin everything. I'm like, ain't this your calling? You're not doing a very good job, it seems. And maybe that's what they're pushing, is that he's not really a good person. I don't know, but I was like,
I wonder if this social media aspect is going to come into play with the later parts of the season, where they're going to figure out where Will is, like the people who want to kill him or whatever. They're going to figure out because of Hillary, because she's like bigger or whatever.
I think I think they're definitely going to bring that back in, which would be interesting. I think that would be a good kind of like, especially, when everything's going right, and then now all of a sudden your past has come to haunt you type arc. Yeah, so I think that would be interesting.
I did like the imagery of like him on a throne with the crown that happened in the beginning, and then like him like having his crown like flying away or whatever.
Yeah, like he was out of control of it.
I like that.
Nice. I did. They were working there with the blue, giving me very Euphoria vibes, even though I haven't seen it. Very blue, pink.
Yeah.
Ooh, what is it? But something else, the music. I like the music. Like they were playing some good music. And when I was reading a little bit about it, it was saying that they really picked out specific music for specific characters. So the music is actually, if you pay attention to like what the lyrics are or what the title is, like it actually is going specifically with that character.
That's good.
I did appreciate that. Like I was like, good music choice. I thought that was spot on. So I will say that.
That is good. Opinion. I mean, of course they had to do the rest in peace. Of course. I almost said Uncle Phil. No, Dr. Phil. Whenever I was rapping along, I was like, wrong Phil. Uncle Phil, not Dr. Phil.
When they it took me a second to realize what the fuck you were doing. She said, oh my God.
The instrumental.
Yeah, the instrumental. First, what's a pink? What's in pink?
Ring a pink.
Take that.
Ring a pink.
Take that out. Let's think. What's the umbaraz?
What else do you want to talk about?
I think that was it. I was gonna kind of go into the ending.
Go ahead.
Just how not his Xanax high ass. I'm like, what is Xanax? Is it Xanax?
That's what he said
what
that he was
Xanax
taking.
Do?
I thought it was supposed to be a chill.
Let me see what it does real fast, because I'm sure they're correct, but I was like, does it make you violent, angry? So Xanax works by increasing the amount of promotes calmness and a relaxed feeling. This greatly helps people that suffer from anxiety disorders, so they're able to remain calmer in a particular stressful situation. So that's not what happened here at all.
So I'm wondering if he's not really snorting Xanax. Because he got really upset really quick. But I mean, I don't blame him. Like Lisa, that's her name, right? Lisa and Will, they know better.
Got there. Y'all can't care. That honestly, don't be rude. Y'all are in public.
Y'all know that Carlton's there.
No, he's there. Y'all could have stayed at the bonfire and made out and said y'all move from the bonfire.
They said, where's Carlton at? Let's do this right in front of him.
I'm like on the stage, above the pool, in front of everybody. I'm like, all right. Y'all are being disrespectful.
He just proposes.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, that ain't it.
They did too much with that one. But I mean, I understand. It's high school drama too. What are you going to do when you love who you love? What else happened at the end?
He just got pushed in the pool. Then he came up and he did what he had to do. That was sad. So he said, you know what? That white boy been pissing me off. Boop. You know what, Carlton? He paused. He said, boop. That was the end of the show.
True.
So I was satisfied at the end because that white boy, he was annoying. Of course. He's like the bully kid, whatever.
Yeah.
And then Carlton needed
to get
hit.
Who are you to tell me I can't say the words I'm saying? He's a First Amendment person. That's right.
Well, you can catch these hands. That's your right too. But yeah, and then Carlton threw him in the pool. I guess he can't swim. I know they had to do the scene where it was like, it was symbolic.
Very dramatic, yeah.
But I was like, I wonder if he can't swim, because that was disrespectful.
I think he was joking around with her, talking about like she asked him like at the pool whenever he's out of the school. She's like, oh, why don't you come in here? I think he said something about like he can't swim.
Oh, got it. Yeah, because I was like, I think he can't swim, because that's why he came out and was like struggling and she had to go get him. I said, you tell me out of everybody, she's the only one that went to grab him? Y'all are so rude.
Well, I thought water looked shallow though. I was like, can he just stand up?
He's like, what, 6'2"? But you know what? It might be the deep end. It's 12 feet.
True.
We'll say that. But yeah, so he came up. He said, not disrespect here today. So we'll see how it goes in the next episode, I guess. I will not. Probably not be watching, only because it just didn't.
First of all, I got to pay for it, and it didn't even look interesting.
No, we know where this goes.
Yeah.
That's another thing about reviving things. You got to show me what is going to be interesting. I mean, we know what happens. Eventually, Will and Carlton are going to be best friends, and he's going to do great basketball.
Or maybe
not. Drug deal's going to go back up.
Maybe not. Maybe they just will be amicable.
What a great storyline. The arc is normal. It's accurate. You know what? They never liked each other, but
now they get somewhat along.
They're probably going to get in trouble. I just know they're going to get in trouble with something, and then they're going to have to band together, and they're going to be like, we are family. Oh, and his aunt is a hoe for never coming back. She said, I have to remember Philly too. I said, ma'am, you haven't been back to visit? You didn't
She probably got it. She on a hit too. That's why.
She did. She said, look, I get it. I get it. I was like, she didn't come back either? He was like, but it was weird because at the beginning he was like, I never met them.
Yeah.
And he was like, hey, it's been so long. I was like,
I know. That's why I was kind of confused too. Yeah.
But anyway, I was like, yeah, I'm sorry. Just because you're rich don't mean you can't talk to your family. I mean, if your family
That's
is
what I'm going to do when I get rich.
not good people, then yeah. But
they're all trash. Get out.
His mom seemed normal. Like his mom was cool.
And
he seemed chill for the most part.
Yeah.
I'm like, why are you not
Viv and his mom
talking
are
anymore?
sisters, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that how it is in the OG one too?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I thought.
Oh, so can we rate this after just watching one episode?
I don't think so. That's kind of rude.
I feel like that is a little rude as well.
So I'll just say, is it enough for you to watch it again?
No.
Or watch another episode?
Mm-mm.
Yeah,
No.
me neither. But I don't know. This may not be. I may not be the target audience here. Because also, I just don't like dramas like you. Sorry, I had to think. I'm like, because I don't want to say it's not the worst thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I don't think that. I mean, it was intriguing to an extent, but I just don't think it's my type of show.
No, I agree.
Yeah, it'd have to be super great drama, or but yeah, I'm usually more into like mystery, sci-fi, thriller, drama types.
I need something spicy happening. If it's just about people making bad decisions, I'm like, okay.
And
so my dad liked it. That's all I can say. He enjoyed it. He said he would like to watch it, but I don't know, with Peacock being scandalous.
They said $4.99. Was it $5?
I don't know. I didn't even click on it. I saw
$5
that
today, $20 tomorrow.
That is so shady. And with ads too, that first episode, I was like, these ads were getting longer and longer. Ooh.
I'm like, so if I pay, do I not get ads? Because I hate
think
when they make you
so.
pay on a low level and you still get ads.
Hulu.
I'm like, I gotta pay for ads. That's why, listen, I'm tired. That's why HBO is killing all y'all.
True.
Not gonna lie. Netflix, step it up.
Anything else you wanted to say?
Up. No, I'm about to go in on all the services. No, that's enough. I'm sorry.
Because speaking of HBO, I have been actually really enjoying a show. Ooh, rhymes. Yeah, I've been really obsessed with a show called Search Party. Its final season just happened this year, and so it's only 5 seasons long. It's 10 episodes per season, only about 22 to 30 minutes per episode. So I have been flying through this shit. Me and Tristan, we were watching like 5 episodes a night. I was like, this is getting out of hand.
It's the equivalent of one episode in real life.
Huh?
It's equivalent of one actual episode. Yeah.
True. This one, I was like, damn, this shit is 60 minutes long. I was like, I don't know if I want to watch it.
No, I'm like, oh, a movie? The only one I'll ever do is Game of Thrones. Don't play me if you're not Game of Thrones.
I need to watch it.
You
I need to watch that.
You do. I'm making my man watch it, and he
Is
didn't
he
want to
liking
watch
it?
Oh my god, yeah, he loves it.
That's good.
I made him get past the first season because he said he watched a couple episodes.
Yeah.
Have you watched a couple? Or
I watched the first season, and then I think I seen season 6.
Oh, you jumped to season 6.
Well, because my parents were watching like in real time.
Keep watching it. The thing is, you do have to get past the first season because it is a lot of they're setting the scene. But as soon as season 2 starts kicking in, it's nothing but rolling from there. So I would say watch it again because he saw some episodes, was like, I was like, no,
Keep going.
no, watch it again.
That's how I feel about this Search Party too, because I watched the first season and I was like, it ended in a way that was like kind of like a cliffhanger or could lead to consequences further down the road. But I was like, actually, I'm good here. I'm like, I can stop. I'm good. But Tristan was like, no, let's keep watching. And so I was like, you know what? I'm actually enjoying this. I get heated. And like, also, I got a lot of anxiety from the show. Something else happens in the later seasons.
Well, what's it about?
Right. I should tell you.
Sorry. I was like, I want to join this journey.
I should tell you what it's about. So basically, we're following Dory. She is walking the streets of New York and she sees a missing person's flyer for this girl named Chantal. They went to college together, but they weren't really friends or anything. But she becomes obsessed with this case and trying to figure out what happened to Chantal.
Okay.
So it's like a dark comedy. That's I think what they market it as, because there's like funny moments. Like there's a part at Chantal's vigil where her a cappella group sings "Since You've Been Gone," but they add Chantal's name in there. Since you've been gone, Chantal. No. Everybody else like, is this appropriate?
No, it's not. Nobody sings them out.
Not at all. No. That's what we're gonna sing at my funeral. Since you've been gone.
Since you've been gone. You only been gone for like a week. Like You gotta wait.
No, do it right when I die. But the first season ends in a way where consequences continue to build and it keeps going into different things. And so after that, like, I wasn't sure if I wanted to keep going, but yeah, like, there's points where I had to stop watching because I was getting so anxious. I was like, I can't do this right now. My little heart. It was. Was so
it scary?
good.
Or you just
no, it's not scary. But it's just like, what's going to happen? Are they going to perhaps get away with it? I'll leave that there. But I really like it. It's really good.
What's it called again?
Search Party. It's on HBO.
Party. Got it.
I would definitely recommend it. But get past the first season. Unless I don't know, maybe you'll like it, but I couldn't get into the first season. I was like, I don't even know if I like this show. Because it was after I finished Insecure. I was craving something new. Insecure is a good one too, because it has short episodes too.
Yep. I love the short episodes.
This makes it so much easier to enjoy.
Have you? Oh, didn't you mention you also started watching Euphoria again?
Yes.
They dragged you in?
Yes.
See, I've been thinking, they are convincing me. I know I was talking earlier. And I was like, I'm a little creeped out because they're like teenagers and it's explicit, but people have got me really curious.
I don't know. I've only watched I think the first 2 or 3 episodes. And like when I was there, I was like, we could keep watching it. But now that I'm out of, I have to also get out of the loop. If I'm just sitting on the couch, I can press next forever. But if I get up and do something, I'm like, I don't need this in my life. That's what happens. But my boyfriend never has seen the show either. So I was like, you want to watch the first episode of the second season? He's like, no. But I made him anyways. And he was like, he regretted it because there was a whole bunch of dicks in it. He was like, what is the point of this?
Explicit, but you know what? The story seems so juicy.
And like, I don't know, even what's going on right now, like, I don't even think it's really that juicy.
No? Okay. Well, you finish because I think it'll be done soon, the second season. So you can let me know.
But yeah, if you like things that are basically okay, then you'll love our Instagram.
You'll love everything we do.
Yes. Our Instagram is at Hayley and Kayli. We also have a TikTok at Press Podcast, where you can check on things too. And we also have a website at presspodcast.com where you can check out our blogs and our podcast. What else do we have?
We also have a YouTube channel at Hayley and Kayli where we just put out our recent Valentine's Day episode. And we will be having an episode coming out next week. So visit that, subscribe, comment, like, whatever else they say to do. Notification bell.
That was ugly. I'm sorry.
That was bad. I remember you did it again. Don't do that ever again. We also have a podcast. It's Press Podcast, and you can find that on Spotify, iTunes, or wherever you listen to your podcasts.
We don't know what we're going to talk about next time, but you can check us out on Instagram, and we'll probably talk about what we're talking about next time. That's how it works. But until next time, bye.
Just hold it.
How unfortunate. Okay.
All right. Sorry, we have some technical difficulties.
Today has not been our day.
No.
We recorded a good 13 minutes without even Hayley recording her audio. And now
I said sorry.
My mic looks like this, so I apologize.
It's all right.
I said sorry.